Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. It is time. Let's get it started for the now third annual 2023 Best of Beauty Community Awards. So glad to have you here. Don't forget that you can also follow me over on Instagram, Threads, and of course on TikTok. But let's get started with what we have to do today on YouTube. This is a lot of work, but don't feel sorry for me. I am insanely excited about it. This is, as I said, the third year running on this, and we have a much bigger community. So it's going to be more work, but I'm more excited about it. And I do hand tally the answers. I don't use Google Forms. I know I probably should. Part of it is that I don't know how, but really the biggest part of it is that I would really rather go in there and see what you're saying and kind of interpret it a little bit. This is, if you are new to my channel within this past year, this is an annual thing I do where we decide on the best of beauty that we used and our favorite beauty in the year of 2023. There are 23. Now, down in our description bar is a treasure trove. All of these questions that we talk about will be printed below. I'll tell you what to do, but there's also information down there on how to give super thanks, which I always appreciate, and how to join our $4.99 a month members only group where we do behind the scenes lives every week and all sorts of good stuff. And all of these 23 questions will be printed down below also. How do you answer them? You can email me. My email is down below. You can go ahead and just put it in comments here. That's what most people do. You can send it to me on Instagram, however you want to do it. If you would like to skip any of these questions, because somebody mentioned to me, it could be off-putting to people, 23 questions. Any that you want to skip, go ahead and skip if you don't have an answer for them. That's fine. Just fill out the ones you know. And keep in mind that this is the beauty products that we all, the entire community here, we are almost at 20,000. We're not there yet. So I would love for you guys to subscribe. Please do, so we can build our numbers into 2024. But we have a bigger community, and I want to know the products that we used most in 2023. It does not, please hear me out, does not, unless the question specifically states, it does not have to be products released in 2023, just products you relied on, loved, and used in 2023. I have my Coke Zero here, still not sponsored, so that I will not be coughing and choking as we go over these questions. All right, I'm going to go over them, but they are down below, and I'll explain them to you. You have until December 20th, midnight Pacific Standard Time, to get the answers back to me, and it is December 3rd, so when I'm releasing this video. So you have a nice long time, and I'll keep reminding you. Questions are also below if you want to follow along. Okay, remember, in 2023, doesn't have to be released in 2023, unless specifically stated. First question is, the brand that you felt the most excited about overall this year. Even if you really didn't buy much from them, a brand that you just felt super connected to and interested in. Like, oh, look at that release. Oh, that was interesting. Any brand that constantly got your attention. Frankly, even if you weren't a customer. Okay? Number 2, your favorite neutral eyeshadow palette that you were most drawn to this year. Whether you bought it, whether you used it, whatever it is, and it can be an eyeshadow palette from another year, but what neutral eyeshadow palette did you use the most this year? Let's see if we can get a consensus. I will, at the end of December, of course, have this video out with all of our answers, don't you worry. Number 3, the most colorful eyeshadow palette that you were attracted to this year. Often Pat McGrath wins on this one, but just give us a colorful eyeshadow palette that you used. Remember, Patrick Ta had a really colorful one. Charlotte Tilbury had a colorful one. What did you use that was colorful? It must be a palette, not a one and done. That's another question coming up. Number 4, this is my favorite every year. Stupidest release. Just like, why? Now, this one does have to be in 2023. This one is 2023 specific. The stupidest release that came out this year. Last year, what won? There was that Fenty ketchup or whatever release. Remember that one last year? I think that won. There's just a lot of stupid releases. Was there anything this year that you were just like, why did they release that? That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Okay, that's number 4. Number 5. The most expensive brand this year, but worth it. If you bought it or thought of buying it, it was a lot of money, but totally worth it. Followed by number 6, which is the most expensive but not worth it brand this year. What brand was just too much money? Just too much money. Tom Ford often wins that one. Chantecaille wins that one. Remember, this is my 3rd year running. Expensive and not worth it versus expensive and worth it. 2 different questions. Number 7. What single beauty or, like hair product, single purchase of one product did you make this year that was your most expensive? And you might say to me, I don't know, Rebecca, it was a $7.99 mascara. Okay. But you might say it was a $500 skin gizmo or something. What was your single most expensive beauty purchase? But number 8, we're going to get into more purchase stuff. Number 8, what was your favorite matte lipstick that you wore this year? Only the brand. You don't have to give me the shade. When we get shades in there, I never get a consensus. So favorite brand of matte lipstick this year does not have to be released this year, but what did you go back to time and time again when you wanted a matte? If you never wear matte lipstick, go ahead and skip the question. I don't care. All right, 9, favorite mascara you wore this year, brand only. Because when we start getting into which Lancome or which Benefit or which whatever, it's too hard to get a consensus. So the brand of mascara that you reached for the most this year doesn't have to be released this year. Number 10. There's a doggy just going crazy outside, so I apologize. He's barking like crazy. He wants in on this quiz. Number 10, what bronzer did you use the most this year? Doesn't have to be released this year. By the way, I will give you my answers as well when we tally them up. When I give you yours answers, I'll also give you mine. 11, favorite makeup brush brand this year. That's important. In the running, are anything synthetic to natural, anything Beautylish sells or that you just got on the Sephora, Ulta site, or your favorite? Doesn't have to be. Okay, number 12. Favorite independent brand this year. Now let me get specific. I added something in from last year. There's a lot of independent brands that are sold at Cult Beauty, Sephora, Ulta. I want independent only through their own website. So you can't get them in the bigger places. Truly independent. Cleonda, Sydney Grace come to mind. Lethal comes to mind. A bunch of those. Really seriously independent. They don't have deals with any other places for number 12. Number 13. Give me a brand that you tried for the first time this year. Doesn't have to be new this year, but you finally tried it. For me, it was Suku. I already can answer that. But what brand did you try for the first time this year that you had not tried before? Number 14. Which beauty retailer did you enjoy the most this year? You bought the most from them. You liked their service. They had good sales. You liked the selection. And that often is won by Sephora or Cult Beauty, but Nordstrom really inched up on it last year. Who did you enjoy shopping with for beauty purchases the most this year? I've got another beauty retailer question coming up that I think you'll like. Number 15. What blush did you love the most this year? Brand only. Gucci, Hermes, Patrick Ta, Charlotte Tilbury. Doesn't have to be released this year. Just the blush brand only, not the shade that you used the most this year. 16, highlighter that you reached for the most this year. Does not have to be released this year. Brand only, not the shade, because I'd like to get a consensus. 17, one and done. Here's the one and done. Eyeshadow that you loved the most this year. Single shadow only, not from a palette. The reason I said that is last year a lot of people shared a single shade from a larger palette that they liked to use as a one and done. That was really cool, but it put my answers all over the map and then I can't get a consensus. So a one and done eyeshadow. You can give me the shade or you could just tell me even better, just the brand. A one and done eyeshadow that you were drawn to the most this year. Number 19, the biggest, most hyped big deal release this year in your opinion. The most hyped big deal release this year in your opinion. What did you hear the most about? I have some ideas, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to influence what you're going to put. Number 20, lip gloss brand or product, not the shade. What lip gloss brand did you enjoy the most this year? Doesn't have to be released this year. 21, we're almost to the end. These are the last two questions. 21, brand you made the most purchases from this year. Now you're going to say, wait, Rebecca, you already had a question about the most expensive purchase. No, that was a single purchase. The brand you kept coming back from and buying from, whether you bought them at a multi-brand store like Sephora or Colt or Mecca or whatever, or whether you just went to the brand website, or whether you bought them in person or at a department store, what brand did you just keep buying from? You just like, oh, I like that. And you went back and bought another. And then they had a new release and you added some eyeliners. And what brand were you really, really frequenting? Even if you didn't spend a lot of money, what just kind of kept you coming back? And last but not least, this is a brand new question. Some of these are worded differently than last year, but this one is an entirely new question. It is our last. Okay, check this out. It's a little negative, which isn't like me, but I think it's interesting. A brand or a retailer that you felt betrayed by this year for whatever reason. Now, for a lot of you, it's going to be purchases. You're going to say, this such and such a store ripped me off, didn't include my product, refused to reimburse me, banned me from their site, those kind of things. And you're going to go, what? People have this kind of drama? Oh yeah, I hear about it in DMs all the time. I hear about Sephora banning purchases. I hear about Sephora not allowing returns. Ulta banning you from purchasing online. Those kind of things. Nordstrom saying that you did this when you did whatever it is. Who do you have the most beef with? Or a brand where the website treated you badly, or you thought the color story really let you down and you've really turned on that brand, or somebody was rude or said a comment, or they were rude in comments and you thought it was awful. So give me a retailer or a brand for the last question that you have felt really betrayed you. Just left a sour taste in your mouth. That's a new question this year. I hope it's not too negative, but to me, it's going to be really interesting if we get a consensus for one brand or retailer that has really upset our community. I think it'll be interesting if we get good feedback on that, to be honest. What I'm going to do here, as I said, I'm going to hand tally these. The reason for that is if you want to go into it a little bit more or discuss it a little bit more, I can then read it and figure out what you meant to include it. So I'm going to hand tally it. And the reason I give so long is I just kind of hand tally them as they come in. And it just makes it a little easier to keep up with it. I basically just do hash marks at the end there. I will let you know the winners towards the end of December. You have until December 20th. Midnight Pacific Standard Time, my time here in California, to answer. And when I give the community answers, if the runner-ups are close, I'll tell you the runner-ups also, if anything's close. And I'll also give you my answers along with it. And it's my most favorite countdown that I do. I'm going to be doing some other countdowns, but this is my most favorite one to do. And I'm just so excited to have a bigger community to do it with this year. Remember, if a list of 22 questions is overwhelming, go ahead and skip whichever ones you want. Take your time with it. I have had people in the past give me their 1 through 10 and then they come back and do the rest of it later. That's fine. I don't care. I totally understand. Again, you can put your answers in comments. You can number them and put them in comments. You can email me. You can send them to me via a DM on Instagram, whatever you want. But I'm really excited to run this questionnaire this year. And it's really interesting marketing research. It really tells me kind of a lot about what's going on out there. And then remember, unless specifically stated, it doesn't have to be released in 2023. It could just be whatever you use the most this year. There are a few, like the number 4 question, the stupidest release this year, that is specific to 2023, but most of these are not specific. Okay, ask me any questions that you have along the way. I really hope that you choose to participate. It makes it a really, really fun. I generally do get thousands of submissions and it makes it really, really fun, and I'm kind of ready to roll up my sleeves and get to tallying. I've given myself a nice long time to do it, and I'm sorry for the homework assignment, but I do hope you participate. It's a lot of fun. Let me know any questions that you guys have. This is our kind of community big hug at the end of the year, so I'm super glad to have you guys along for it. Make sure that you subscribe and share this video. Please make sure people see it and like and all that good stuff, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Bye-bye.